guys, welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, we will be discussing the most important topic which has been flagged by many of you all previously, which is exactly what you would like to know more about, which is the documents that you need to apply for your health and care worker visa or generally your tier 2 visa. Now many of you all have flagged this up in the past, which is why I'm going to try and make this video as detailed and comprehensive as possible. But if you do have questions, don't forget to leave them down in the comment section below. And before we move ahead, let me just let you know that obviously I have a physiotherapy in UK Instagram page, which I highly recommend you follow in case you want daily updates just about life in the UK, the jobs that are available, the health and care worker sort of proficiencies that you need to complete, and also what it is like to work as a health and care worker in the UK. So if you are interested in it, do not forget to follow me on Instagram. But let's get right into this video now. Now, just before we move ahead, I just want to let you know really quickly that the health and care worker visa usually has a success rate of 99%. That means that obviously if you submit it with all of the right documents, you should be guaranteed a health and care worker visa. However, there are many tiny mistakes that a lot of y'all keep making which can delay the process, because the UK Home Office is then going to ask you for additional information or can even deny you a visa based on these mistakes. So in this video, please remove your pen and paper out so that you have all of the information you need, or save this for later so that you can watch it. So if you have watched any of my previous videos on how to land a job in the UK, you are in the right direction and you've landed a job now. But if you haven't already, don't forget to check out this video where I have listed out how you can probably make your NHS profile more appealing for all of the employers and get called to interviews. But if you've landed an interview and you've successfully gotten a job, you need to make sure that your employer is on the sponsored list within the UK. So they are willing to sponsor your visa and they are on the sponsored list within the UK. The second thing that you need to make sure is, because most healthcare professionals are on the shortage occupation list, we still need to meet the minimum threshold of £20,400. So make sure that whatever job you have is going to pay you more than £20,400 a year. This is the basic requirement that you need even before you start the visa application. So the first thing on my list is the offer of employment. Now, obviously, if you've landed a job in the UK, you've successfully cleared all the interviews, you've got the pre-employment check sorted, you will be offered the unconditional offer letter from your employer. Now, this unconditional offer letter will state very clearly on its letterhead the NHS trust, the care home, or even the private company that is willing to offer you the job. It will have all of your details on it, and at the end, it will also have a signed designated person who is saying that they are willing to sponsor your visa or they are willing to offer you this job, which can potentially give you sponsorship in the UK. So always when you submit a visa application for your health and care worker visa or generally for your tier 2 visa, I would say attach the unconditional offer letter or the unconditional employment letter to your visa application. Now, the most important thing to remember, like I explained to you before 2 minutes ago, is to make sure that you have the signed seal or a seal from the care home or from the NHS employer or from the private organization. Because obviously, if this is not signed, it does create a sort of doubt in the mind of the Home Office of whether this is a valid letter of recommendation in terms of you getting an employment in the UK. So I would say always, whenever you get your unconditional offer letter from the employer, scroll all the way down and check whether it is signed or whether it is stamped or sealed by that particular care home or NHS trust or private organization. The second most important document which you cannot make a visa application without is your certificate of sponsorship. Now, obviously, for those of y'all who don't know what this is, it is a document that is ensured or that is issued from the employer to you. It has three main details which are quite important for you. The first one is your occupation code. So every job has a specific occupation code. For example, for physiotherapist, it is 2221. This is the occupation code that is tied up with the physiotherapist, which shows us that we are on the shortage occupation list. The second thing that you need over there is your employer sponsorship number. So every employer who is allowed to sponsor visas or who is allowed to even be eligible to sponsor visas in the UK is given a certain number, which is its unique ID number. Now, if you are confused about this and would like more information about this, do let me know in the comment section below and I will make a reel or a short about this in a few days' time. But the third most important information on your certificate of sponsorship is the certificate of sponsorship number for yourself, because this is again a unique number for every application that the employer is going to consider making. For example, if I am the employer and I have to sponsor employee A and B, I will have to issue two unique numbers. So these numbers are not replicable, they are not copied across different sort of sponsorships, but they will be ensuring that it is unique for me and it is unique for another candidate. So obviously there are lesser chances of duplication, but this is a very good thing that you need to check for as soon as you receive your certificate of sponsorship. Now again, for those of y'all who are confused about this and would like more information, especially to identify if what you have received is a fake COS or a real COS, please let me know in the comment section below and I will make a video on that soon. The third document that I think is important and it could be essential is a cover letter. Now obviously when I made my first health and care worker visa application in the UK, I had a cover letter listing out all of the key bits of information about myself and what is it that I was applying for. Now if you are confused about how to write a cover letter for your work visa applications, do let me know in the comment section below and I will make a video on it soon, just so that you capture all of the essential details and make it as crisp and as clear as possible to process your visa application right in the first time. The next document is again quite a crucial one, especially when it comes to generally all the visas in the UK, and that is your tuberculosis test certificate. Now this is a health-based certificate which needs to be taken lesser than 6 months from your visa application and from the time you aim to move into the UK. The TB test certificate is a very important one, and let me assure you that if you do not submit this, there are high chances for your application to be rejected. So please guys, as soon as you make a visa application, go ahead and get your TB test certificate done, because once you've done the test, the center will give you a certificate, and this sort of certificate needs to be taken with you when you go for your visa appointment or when you are asked to show the documents in support of your visa application. So the next document that I would like to talk about is your English language proficiency. Now again, for many of y'all out there, if you have submitted an English language proficiency test for your HCPC licensing, which is mainly for your allied health professionals coming into the UK, or again if you are a nurse and you've done an IELTS, you can go ahead and try to submit that document. For those of y'all who haven't done any IELTS, I would say if you have completed your bachelor's, whether it's bachelor's in physiotherapy or any other profession in English, I would advise you to get your medium of instruction certificate from your university, and along with that apply for something known as the UK NARIC or ICTIS, because this shows that your degree was done in English and is equivalent to sort of the UK degrees. So you can go ahead and submit your UK NARIC or ICTIS certificate. And finally, another sort of third way to show that you actually have the English language requirements is if you have studied in the UK, then you can show that the degree certificate that you have completed from the degree or the university in the UK is considered proof enough for you to be able to pass the English language requirements for your visas. So I would say, for example, for me, if I've studied from UK, I would just submit my degree certificate along with my application, because that would show that I have the baseline or that I have the English requirements for a work visa in the UK. So yes, these were the sort of three main categories. The first was submitting IELTS. The second was having a UK NARIC with your medium of instruction in English. And the third was obviously having a UK degree certificate attached to your visa application. Now be mindful, you don't need all the three, you need any one of these. So whatever is the easiest for you to obtain, go ahead and do that. Now another sort of crucial document that is quite important when you apply for any visa in the UK is proof of funds. Now again, if you are applying for a health and care worker visa or your general sort of work visa on a tier 2 category, you need to make sure that you have your certain proof of funds within your bank account, and this is being held for 28 days. Now if you are applying for a health and care worker visa, this is much lesser. It is about £1,250 that you need to have held for at least a minimum of 28 days. Now, just because obviously we are internationally trained professionals and we are looking to obviously show a proof of funds from another country, I would say that it is good to have this money in your bank account for at least 35 to 40 days, because sometimes the exchange rates fluctuate and there might be some difficulties in your bank or obtaining a letter from there. So I would say have that money in your account at least for 35 to 40 days, so that when you are asked to show 28 days of proof of funds in your bank accounts, you can show it quite easily and without a lot of difficulty. Again, coming down to the key fact that if you have a dependent with you, for example, if you are coming with your spouse, or if you have a child, this sort of proof of funds that you need to show goes a little bit higher. Now, if you need more information about it, I'm just going to leave the link for that in the description box below. So go ahead and have the look. So go ahead and have a look on the Government of UK website of what is the actual sort of total proof of funds. And I have made a video on this previously. I'm going to leave the link for that right here just so that you have more information about this. Now, the next document that is not entirely mandatory, but I would advise you to have it if you already are in the process of coming to the UK, is your police clearance certificate. Now, obviously, every country has a sort of different process on how they perform police clearance checks, and this may be unique to your own country, so I'm not going to advise you a lot on this. But I would say that if you are planning to come in the UK as a healthcare worker or as a healthcare professional, do consider having your police clearance done in your home country and attach that certificate in the UK visa application. Because what essentially happens is, if you are working in the UK, we have something known as the DBS, which is essentially equivalent to the police clearance check. But obviously, if you are somebody new coming into the UK, you would need to have your police clearance from a country where you are originally from. So I would advise you that once you receive the certificate, attach it onwards along with your visa application and submit it there. And now, coming down to one of the final documents is your degree or your academic certificates. Now, obviously, if you have completed your bachelor's or your master's anywhere in the world or even in the UK, I would advise you to have those documents attached with your visa application. Now, the reason I say this is it's a hit and miss. It's not that you mandatorily need it or that it's essential, but if you have it, it just strengthens your application, gives them a little bit more confidence that obviously you are qualified enough to do this particular job for which you are coming into the UK. So I would say always attach your academic documents. Now, one of the final documents that I want to mention before I wrap up this video is your registration or your license to practice as a healthcare professional in the UK. Now, for many of us, including physios, occupational therapists, art therapists, that would just be our HCPC. For nurses, it might be your GMC registration, but whatever it is, I would advise you that if you have your certificate, or if you have your license number, or even if you have an email that shows that you've been accepted to practice as a healthcare professional in the UK, just add that on to your visa application, because like I said, it just strengthens your application, builds the confidence for the Home Office that you are actually coming to the UK to do a job that you are qualified and accepted for. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you found that useful, and if you did, do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Take care. Bye.